Well, preseason game number 1 is in the books. Final result of this one, the Golden State Warriors 129, your Portland Trailblazers 123. But don't get upset because this was not nearly as bad as taking a loss sounds in general. Welcome in to the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you want to join the conversation tonight, 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. And of course, you can go on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio and get in on the chat there, where I'm already getting razzed for losing games in online football games. It's not very nice, guys. I'm just trying to have fun here and talk about what happened in Golden State, because again, the loss, it doesn't matter. It's preseason. You can go 0-4. You can go 4-0. It has no bearing on what happens come the 82 games that actually do matter. And this one did come down to the fourth quarter, where the Blazers were outscored 51-26. But again, that was in large part to just having the end of the bench guys in there. Javonte Cook was in the game. Dwap Reith, Sidi Sissoko, Ryan Rupert. A couple guys that you would hope could hold leads and figure things out, but it's not the end of the world, all things considered. Now, you go to the beginning of the game. Boy, howdy. That starting lineup looked good, did it not? Shaedon Sharpe came out absolutely hot in this one. He played just 23 minutes, ended with 22 points. He had 6 rebounds. He was 4 of 8 from beyond the arc, so a nice performance for him shooting the ball. That was nice to see. Jeremy Grant, he had 21 minutes in the start. He had just 8 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist. Toumani Camara, impressive. He looked ready to go. He looked in midseason form. He had 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 2 block shots, and he was 4 of 9 from beyond the arc. He played just 20 minutes in this game. And you look at the stat line, though, I mean, that's a phenomenal stat line for Toumani Camara. If he can continue to build on that in the regular season, that's going to be pretty good if you're the Portland Trailblazers. And in 17 minutes of action, Drew Holiday, 7 points and 7 assists to lead the team. So the starting lineup in this one tonight, again, Drew Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe, Donovan Clingan, Toumani Camara, and Jeremy Grant. Denny Avdia came off of the bench. I would expect that looks different on Friday. I would think that Denny probably gets back into the starting lineup. Coach Billups messes with things a little bit, but I think you look at this game and people are like, did Shaedon Sharpe show something? Is he going to play his way into staying on the court? You can't take him out. Regardless, I thought that looked good. Where you decide to play him in the long run, that's going to work itself out. It was just nice to see him be aggressive, going to the hole, hitting the three-point bucket with ease. That's exactly what you wanted from Shaedon Sharpe. And to do that, what he did tonight in just 23 minutes of action, you'd hope you give him, 35 minutes or whatever. You're looking at these 20-point games with regularity, and that will help you a ton moving forward. I also think we got a good answer of where this team sits in the ball handling realm. Okay, you got Drew Holiday, who was your starting guard. You had Denny Avdia, who is going to take some of that off of his plate, right? Because you need someone to handle the ball. But you also had Blake Wesley in there tonight. 20 minutes of action. He had 2 assists, and he was basically the backup guard throughout this game. So a lot of things that they can learn from, lean on, and definitely things that they're going to see on tape. It was a welcome to the NBA moment, though, for old Young Hansen. He had 21 minutes of action in this one. He was 2 of 5 from the floor. He had 4 rebounds, a single assist, but he did foul out. And as Chad Doing so eloquently put on Twitter, didn't take long for Young Hansen to realize that NBA officials are a rear end. Welcome to the league, big guy. Welcome to the league. But hey, preseason game, plenty to take away from it. That was good. The bad, the loss, that it doesn't really matter. Again, if you want to join the conversation with me, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number, where we're going to go out right now to our friend Ken in Vancouver, who, he's been waiting. I was wondering about you, Ken, because you stopped calling in for a little bit. I knew that you were down and out after the whole Damian Lillard thing, but, we touched base at the rally. Things are looking up, Ken. Things are looking up.
I'll tell you, thanks for taking my call, guys. I was really pleased. One at the Fan Fest. It was so fun to watch. usually those things are a glorified layup line. They were playing really great defense in that Fan Fest scrimmage. It was like money was on the line, and that made me really excited. But tonight, our starters against their starters, I was nothing but impressed. Shaden Sharp, uh, he's a starter. I mean, that the kid finally is starting, I think, mature to the point where he's like, it just looks easy, Chris. It looks easy. His game looks easy, and that's just how special he is.
Yeah, it looked easy. It looked like he was playing with a little bit of aggression that you don't normally see from him, which I think a lot of people have wanted. And that's exactly what I've been asking for is just be that man on offense. Because if he can be that guy that you can rely on to go get you buckets when you need them, that's a big plus for this team.
No doubt, they're going to need that. There's plenty of defense on this starting lineup. I mean, Tamari was fantastic tonight. His shot is looking better and better. I think Denny looked fantastic. His shot was a little off early, but you could just see, he's probably a little weathered from playing in the Euros. I'm sure that had something to do with it too. Sometimes you get a little tired. But the new guys, I thought Drew played reserved but well. You could see, he's still feeling it out. It's going to take a while. Wesley, his shot is not good from outside, but I'll tell you, I like what I see as far as distribution, hustling ball, defense. That's a winner. All these people who are down on Jeremy Grant, let's stop it. He's important to this team. You can see it. He looks good in the lineup. I was impressed with Jerry Grant. The only down of this game is the silly putty connection. The silly putties. Those are the guys, the last five guys on the team. I call them the silly puds because they're basically preschoolers. And their preschoolers looked like they could play, and our preschoolers, quite frankly, looked like they had poop in their diaper. It was not a good effort from any of our silly puds. As a matter of fact, I don't want to put Chris Murray into this because I really liked what I saw of him tonight. I don't consider him a silly putty guy. I think has more of a refined set, and I think Chauncey saw that. And basically, after he made those shots, he's like, "I've seen enough, Chris. We'll pull you out. Let's see what these other guys can do." I was very disappointed in Ryan. He looked so good in summer league. I thought tonight he wasn't aggressive enough. He looked kind of passive. I was totally blown away by just how bad some of these guys looked. Let's face it, trial by fire, young. I'm not going to judge you from tonight. It's going to be a learning lesson. He looked total stiff tonight. I mean, he just looked, like they said, Calabro talked about they're going to have a lot for the film to show him, okay, can't lay your opposite, your non-ball dominant arm rest on the defender. You cannot do that. You can't switch your feet when you're pivot foot. Can't do it. They let them do it a couple times. That Santos guy did it near the last play of the game. He switched his pivot foot, and they didn't see that. But Young, that was not a good performance. That was everything we saw in summer league, and even the Fan Fest scrimmage. He looked like a guy, like a total stiff tonight. But you know what? I love the kid. The future is bright for him. He's going to learn the game. It's just the first game, and it's going to take a while. But the skill set's there. Tonight, though, it looked like his feet were in cement. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, no, and thanks for the call as always, Ken. You're welcome back anytime. I'm glad you're back on the airwaves, back giving me the phone calls there. But yeah, I'm not worried about young Hansen in the least. I think this was definitely the realization, right, that this is the NBA. This isn't summer league. This isn't even your gym runs. Like once you get playing with guys who are running their actual sets and are going to put you in a position to, make you work, you're going to have to work. And he's in spots tonight, like when he gets switched up, when they have stretch bigs on the floor that force him out of the paint, he gets exposed. That's what you're talking about. Those feet cement, right? Like you're going to get by me because I'm not going to be able to stop you. Those are things he's going to learn. I mean, this guy's very, very young. He's playing at this level now for the first time. There's a reason why I think that the potential's there. and the Blazers were able to take the risk on him by drafting him high, as some people thought in the moment, because they have Donovan Clingan. If Robert Williams is healthy, they have Robert Williams. They have Dwap Reith. Like, they still have guys that they can throw in there. Like, they don't need him to be a contributor tomorrow. But if he can be a contributor, that's good. I mean, you still look at the performance, the 4 points, the 4 rebounds. He did have just the single assist. But the fouls, I mean, we have seen this story on repeat over and over and over again. You saw it a little bit with DC. You definitely saw it with guys like Zach Collins, that when the bigs get to the NBA, they learn real quick that it's officiated a little bit different than they're ever used to. And I think they'll be just fine in the long run. I like his IQ is going to get him on the floor. It's a matter of putting all those other little pieces around it. And that's why you need these games right now, these preseason games. That's how you learn. 51 points in a quarter ever. And as I responded, I would not worry about that in the least. Team give up 51 points in a quarter ever. And as I responded, I would not worry about that in the least. It was an end of the bench palooza. There was no continuity, no anything going on there. It was just a bunch of guys just rolling, and it happened. It is what it is. I wouldn't worry too much about that. It was not more of an indication of the team's defense as a whole. It was the end of the bench guys. And as Sean chimed in as well, the top 7 to 8 rotation players looked good tonight. Could only get better as they play together more. And I do think that Kevin Calabro and Lamar Hurd said something good on the broadcast about how the team looks connected. And that is kind of something that has been missing as of late, is just that connectivity, the ability to play with each other and have that chemistry. You look back at the Blazers of 2018, 2019, those teams hit the floor with other teams that were far more talented than them at times. But their chemistry got them W's. And that's where that connectivity comes into play that they're talking about. And the team did look connected tonight. Again, it's just one preseason game. Got 3 more to play before the regular season. But I do think there was plenty to like, and plenty that Coach Billups is going to look at on the video, show these guys that they do like. Plenty to work on too, but it's still good things came out of this one. All right, if you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. And of course, you're like, what's he talking about? The commenters, Jason and Sean. Oh, that's youtube.com. Head on over there, type in Rip City Radio 620. We will pop up right there, and you can join the conversation live with me. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. This is the 5th quarter. We roll on after the break here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. Blazers open up the preseason with a 129-123 loss to the Golden State Warriors. Not all bad, though. It's one of those games where the loss is what it is. You got to read in and try to find some other things in there. I still think there was plenty to like in this game. And, of course, sometimes the YouTube chat gets a little funny with the things they say. They make me question, my own sanity here. Like RC says, great sign hearing Zach Collins comparison on night one. And I don't know if that's sincere or that's sarcasm, right? Like, Zach Collins. Hey, Zach Collins, though, it's pretty good big man. I liked Zach Collins. Good defense, moved incredibly well. Got a little injured, had some ups and downs, but he's still a serviceable rotation big in the NBA. Now, again, the Zach Collins reference is just the fact that big men in the NBA, they learn quickly that it is definitely basketball back at 7 p.m. on a weeknight. Got my routine. That Blazer basketball back at 7 p.m. on a weeknight. Got my routine back. It is funny that he says that because, like, you sit here and you're like, oh, man, a Blazer game, it's about to mess with our schedule a little bit because you've got through the summer lull, and then you get to the game, and you're like, it just feels right. It just feels right. Here we are. We know what we're doing. We know we're going to have a late night, but we get Blazer basketball, and it's fun. It's absolutely fun. Now, back to the action. Young Hansen got a chance to talk to the media after the game. If you saw it, there was a very large contingent of Chinese media there, and he's the talk of the town, man. People are so excited to see what he can do. He has an entire country with a massive population riding on his back. I mean, you saw what Yao Ming did in the NBA, right? I mean, just took over. And it's like, obviously they're different countries and different situations, but like you look at what happened when Ichiro came over, right? I mean, the entire country of Japan, they became Mariner fans overnight. So they're Dodger fans right now with Shohei Ohtani, right? I remember the mass amounts of media and it was just Ichiro mania up in Seattle, the Pacific Northwest as a whole. And again, I know that's a different setting altogether, but China's kind of that same feeling where it's like, that's our guy. We're going to latch onto him, right? We love him. We want him to do great. And that's awesome. Like, you absolutely gotta feel for Young Hansen, like the young guy out here with an entire country just watching his every move. Like, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool, to be honest. And so I want to take a listen and hear what he had to say. Obviously, his interpreter doing a wonderful job getting this audio and letting us understand what's going on. Maybe we should all work on the Chinese just a little bit, right? It would be cool to understand what they're saying. But again, they did a great job here. So let's take a listen to what Young Hansen had to say following his NBA preseason debut.
CCTV， 想问一下你啊，就是季前赛的比赛感觉肯定是和这个夏季联赛不太一样的。你在比赛中体会到了哪些不同？然后你自己觉得在比赛中需要有哪些提高的方面？然后怎么去适应这个 NBA 的比赛节奏？
I mean, any difference between summer league game and the preseason game? You already feel that. So, which part you can improve, like from this game, and what kind of adjustment you need to put in and try to be ready for the regular season?
我觉得就是整体对抗上面比夏季联赛强很多，然后就是自己也需要去适应，也需要去在提升自己的对抗和体能，然后自己有很多不足的地方需要去慢慢的改正，然后在日后训练努力训练，努力提高自己。
For sure, it's tougher contact here, and I keep working on my conditioning and contact too. So I just try to get used to it and be ready for the new season.
然后还有一个问题啊，就是在今天的比赛中，你有一些控制犯规还有失误的一些方面的这个不足，然后你觉得在未来的比赛中，自己的哪一项技术或者哪个方面需要提升？
Looks like you get in the foul trouble today. So which part you can be better in the game in the future?
有些动作可能就是这边 在赛手上面还有掩护上面吹得比较严，然后就是自己需要去注意这，然后自己这吸取经验，然后就是下次注意自己的动作。
I guess I'm illegal hand checking, so I'll take care of my hands next time and my body. Yeah.
汉森你好，腾讯体育。我们知道主帅比卢普斯在这赛季让球队的进攻变得更加有随机性，更加的快速。那么我注意到很多的攻防回合，你都有跟主帅在场边进行沟通，在那些短暂的间隙里。想知道的是你们都在沟通什么？比方主帅是在提醒你哪些细节上的问题，还是整体的哲学上的问题吗？
It looks like Chelsea get a lot of talk during the game with you, Hansen. Like what did he tell you, or just any details can show us?
自己在防守上面、站位上面有很多不足，然后教练在场边跟我来交流，然后就是第一次的时候可能就是场边有点声音太大，然后没有听清，然后后面的时候教练确实也着急，然后那个比划后面才明白了，可能就是自己英语方面也要提高，然后自己也要多去理解教练的意图。
I need to get in the right spot in the game. Like in the first time, it's too much noise. I can't listen what Chauncey said. So in the timeout, he showed me on the court, and also I need to work on my English too, so I can understand him faster.
I like that last little bit. I like it's the knowledge part of barrier, right? The gap there does create a little bit of a hardship, and barrier, right? The gap there does create a little bit of a hardship. And he mentioned, being in the right spot so he could hear Chauncey over everything and work on his English so that he can understand him quicker, right? I mean, coach doesn't always have the ability to grab a whiteboard and draw it and show you. There's a lot of yelling in the middle of the game. So getting to the point where you can understand that and learn those things quickly is going to be important for his growth as a player. But I do think he's, again, mentally, he's talented. He has a great basketball mind. Again, and put the rest of that together, I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be okay. A lot riding on his success. Like I said, the entire country in China watching him, just hanging on his every word, and that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have that extra layer of media focus for your Portland Trailblazers right now. Now, if you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and get in on the conversation there, where the debate right now is who should start and who shouldn't. And you know what? I think it's right now not too much to worry about. Coach said prior to the game, don't read into anything that happens. There's going to be a lot of experimentation. I do think that you look at the lineup tonight, and I don't think that's going to be the lineup that you see on Friday. I think on Friday, you probably roll out there, put Denny back into the starting lineup, pull Jeremy out. Maybe you run a lineup where it's Drew to Denny, Jeremy, and DC in the starting lineup just to see what you got. You have to figure out a lot of things here right now. And the unfortunate part of the Scoot injury also means that you got to figure out how you're going to run those rotations without your true backup or potential starting guard, depending how you wanted to run, because you don't know. Maybe it was going to be a Scoot Drew backcourt, right? So there's just a lot there that you got to figure out. Now, I do think in the long run, you got to have Denny out there. He was arguably your best Blazer last year, him and Toumani Camara. I definitely think they earned that right, and I don't think Jeremy Grant's done anything to take that away from them. I think the debate is, where does Shaedon Sharpe fit in the long run? Now, if he plays like he did tonight for an extended period of time and that becomes the norm, guess what? You've played your way back into the starting lineup. Absolutely. And Jeremy Grant in the bench is not terrible. It still gives them a little bit of an offensive punch. Defensively, he's good. I think you're still going to get a lot of run with the starters. I think even if you're coming off the bench in Jeremy Grant's case, you're still probably going to be playing your high 20s, low 30 minutes a night because they need you. You bring things to the floor. I don't think he's washed in the least. I don't think he is the starter that this team needs right now. And I do think he's probably going to want a future where he's somewhere else because that's what he does want. But I think you got to get Denny out there. You got to get Toumani out there, and you got to roll with that. I think you got to roll with that. Of course, there's lots of love for Blake Wesley as well. He did a good job coming in off the bench. He's going to get some run probably in this early season as well as they look to see who's their backup point guard. And then everyone just sits there and goes, come on, Scoot, we need you to come back sooner rather than later. But just ease into it. ease into it. I promise you, everything's gonna be okay. Yeah, and shout out to Brett on the chat as well. He's like, can we change the intermission music up a little bit? And I just had to explain. It's a pre-made macro. It's a pre-made macro on YouTube. We don't control the music. We just hit the button and it turns the board off and goes to break. But during the home games, I control a little bit more. Maybe we'll mix it up for you. We'll start taking requests. Okay, yeah, hit me, Chris J. Burkhardt on social. Hey, Burkhardt, first commercial break. I need some great music like I can on the radio over here. Shacker hooks it up. Half the time it's just great music like I can on the radio over here. Shacker hooks it up. Half the time it's just metal. It's Metal Monday on a Wednesday whenever Shacker's running the music. Let me tell you what. And I don't complain because I'm a metalhead. But we'll help you guys out. We'll get through this. We'll have some fun. Because you know what? We're going to ride this thing together through the ups and the downs, the left turns, the right turns, turning sideways, doing anything you want. We're going to have some fun because guess what? Game 1 of 86, if you're counting the regular season and the preseason together, and it just feels so right, doesn't it? Blazer basketball is back. We're going to take a quick little break. When we return, plenty of more Blazer talk coming up here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Holy smokes. Shacker just played Skin of My Teeth by Megadeth as the intro. And the way he says clinging on to life, it sounds like clinging, Donovan clinging. And I do think like this needs to be like the song that plays when he like gets a block or has a, gets a points or clinging on to life. Just like play like, okay, I need to you to send the music and this clip over to Todd Bosma ASAP. We need to make this happen. Clinging on to life. Oh yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Welcome in to the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you, breaking down this preseason game number 1. The Blazers did fall to the Golden State Warriors 129-123. But again, I do think this game, it is a preseason game. It happens. The last quarter, they were outscored by the Warriors 51-26. It was garbage time for the Blazers bench. It was also garbage time for the Warriors bench, but it was just is what it is. There's just not much else to read into it. But the starters, the main rotation, that is something that I think we can get behind because Tamani Kamara looked good. Shaden Sharp looked good. I thought Drew Holiday was solid. I thought he was solid. He ends the night with just 4 points, but he had 7 assists. Defensively, you're going to look at the stat sheet and there's no blocks, no steals, but you could tell he was putting pressure on people. And he was high on Blake Wesley in his interviews after practice yesterday. And I thought Blake Wesley was also kind of the same game. He was putting pressure on players. And you could see that defensive mentality is something this team's leading into. Now, you do need to find your offensive punch. And I think you got that with Shaden Sharp. He had a wonderful night, 22 points, 9 of 15 shooting. I think in the first half, it was like 12 shots in 15 minutes, which was something that Michael Holton was raving about. So I thought there was a lot to like from the starters. Jeremy Grant, bad shooting night, which we saw a lot of those last year. I think you need to get to a spot where he's not taking as many shots. You don't need Jeremy Grant taking 11 shots or being the third most field goal attempts on this team right now. I would like that to continue to be Shaden Sharp leading the way. You need to get more out of Denny Avdia. He was 4 of 9 on the night. But all in all, a lot to like from this game. Rebounds, Portland out-rebounded Golden State 60-44. Golden State had more assists, 31-26, 7 lead changes. The biggest lead of the night for the Blazers was 21. The biggest lead for Golden State was 6, which is what they ended up winning by. Bench points, that was the difference. 87 for Golden State, 71 for Portland. Now, I want to go back. There was a possession early in the second, I think it was in the second half, when in the third quarter when a lot of the starters were still in, where they couldn't buy a bucket. It was Tamani Kamara missed a 3, but Donovan Clingan gets the offensive rebound, kicks it out, gets the Shaden Sharp. He misses the shot, but guess what? They get the offensive rebound, and it gets kicked back out to Tamani Kamara, and he takes a shot. He misses a shot, but they get the offensive rebound, and then it gets kicked out to Blake Wesley in the corner for a 3. He takes a shot. He misses the shot. They don't get the offensive rebound. Would have liked them to get points there, but I loved the hustle. I thought it was one of those possessions that kind of speaks to what coach is trying to do, what this team wants to do when it just comes to just all hustle, giving it your all, not taking plays off. Like 3-4 offensive rebounds in one possession to not end with points hurts, but the hustle, you can absolutely respect it. Now, Coach Billis did say post-game too, like you saw a little bit of the offensive changes, not a ton. Because I think you look at the first half, like, 71 points. Like, yeah, obviously the offense is different. I still felt like there was a lot of standing around at times, guys sagging off into the corner. You could see the freshness. Like, you could see that there was some more movement to the offense, but there was still a little bit of that sagging off that we want to get rid of, right? We want to get players out of the corner. We want to get that constant movement, get the ball moving around the horn, get players open. That's what we hope this offense turns into. But I don't think anyone's going to complain how the offense looked one way or the other when you score 70-plus points in the first half. I think you're going to be okay with that. I think the biggest takeaway for me in this one, Shaden Sharp's offense looked great. Tamani Kamara looked in mid-season form. Young Hansen still has plenty to learn. But we all knew that. Now, in another chat, I have multiple Blazer chats going on where certified Blazer talking to me over here in a Discord chat about how, people were so delusional with Young Hansen. They thought he was going to, he should have been the starter over over Donovan Clingan. I think anyone who told you that, when he was drafted or up until now was delusional. Like they obviously should have not been taken seriously. I mean, we got to look at this team realistically. If this team's fully healthy, Robert Williams is ready to go. You got Donovan Clingan. I mean, then Young Hansen is battling with Dwap Reith for that third center spot. I mean, Robert Williams is right now, if he's healthy, he is still probably your best center because he brings it offensively as well. Last year when he started, it was good, and you could see the difference. Now Kling Kong, still plenty to learn. I still think he's probably the starter, even if Robert Williams is healthy, because Robert Williams has a good history of being a very, very good backup center. But yeah, Young's not battling for the starting position. Not right now. Maybe in 2-3 years things click, but there's still a lot for him to learn. That's why you like this game. I think, like I said, he said it himself. Like he needs to learn English better so he can understand what coaches wants from him in a timely manner and get out there and have the best game he can. But guess what? Game 1, preseason, you're going to foul out. It's like Greg Oden getting 10 fouls in a summer league game. It happens. You got to learn the ways of the NBA, how it's officiated, and how to adjust your game to it. In the end, I think you're going to be absolutely all right. I think you're going to be all right. All right. I think that's going to do it for tonight, though, because it is preseason. Like, yep, producing it at 10:45. It's a little bit different than 3 p.m. His head, like, yep, producing it at 10:45. It's a little bit different than 3 p.m. We all get used to it together. But like I said, you know what? Through the ups and the downs, the left turns, the right turns, we're going to get through this together as Rip City. So make sure you're liked, share, subscribe, tell your friends about our YouTube page so you can tune in every single game. We'll be with you before and after every single Blazers game, including Friday's game, the first home preseason game for your Portland Trail Blazers as they take on the Sacramento Kings. Tip-off at 7 p.m., which means I will have Blazers game day for you starting at 5 o'clock. Once again, down in San Francisco, one of my favorite cities in the world. The Wharf is absolutely phenomenal. Big fan of Bubba Gump shrimps. That's for an entirely different night, though. Your Portland Trail Blazers fall to the Golden State Warriors 129-123.